Okay, this is Democracy and the Rule of Law. The National Association of Resident Doctors has raised the alarm that it is being threatened by some government agencies to call off its ongoing strike. This comes 4 days into the nationwide strike, which according to the association is to protest against the failure of the federal government to honor their agreements, including the payment of salary arrears and indemnity of their colleagues who died in the line of COVID-19 duty. On the flip side of it, President Buhari has been sued over his failure to prove allegations that about 3.8 billion naira of public funds meant for the Federal Ministry of Health, teaching hospitals, medical centers, and National Food Drug Administration and Control (NAFDAC) are missing, mismanaged, diverted, or stolen, as documented in the recently released 2018 audited report by the Office of the Auditor General of the Federation. The Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project Cherub, via a statement issued on Sunday by its Deputy Director Kolawole Oluwadare, said it has filed a lawsuit against President Buhari. Now, the President has come under intense criticism for traveling out of the country on medical health when all these, happening. And before now, there was mixed feeling when the COVID-19 came in, and initially it was perceived as a disease for the elite, as it were, because it was mostly affected by them. And some Nigerians were like, okay, maybe this is a good thing, because with that, and they can't travel out of the country, maybe they will fix the dilapidated health system. But it was just wishful thinking, as it were. That's what people are saying. Let me have your view on that, not me.
Yeah, well, let me start with Buhari's trip to UK for medical treatment. We should be used to these things. Buhari has been there for the past 6 years, and we are witnesses to how he enjoys traveling abroad, particularly for what I would call medical tourism. Prior to him coming into office, he had assured Nigerians that he will ensure that that idea of leaders traveling for medical attention will be put a stop. But it has been the order of the day. But the worrying part is that down here in Nigeria, you are traveling for medical trip, medical checkup. The doctors in Nigeria are striking. What impression are you creating to the global community? It doesn't showcase Nigeria as a serious-minded country, honestly. It is a laughable situation, and then people are justifying such attitude. Medical doctors who has always been at the front of this battle against COVID-19, most of them lost their lives, and what they are agitating for is not something that cannot be achieved. I recall in September last year, medical doctors also embarked on strike. Immediately we came out from COVID-19 lockdown, and that was later resolved, and just 6 or 7 months down the line, we're embarking on strike. So for me, the institution, we don't have institution anymore in this country. We are trying to kill the institution and render the poor masses, helpless. Because if the rich can afford to travel at will for medical attention, that means the other members of society are stuck here, to attend to Israel. So I feel that call for our health sector to be improved had always been an issue. I listened to the Minister of Labor and Productivity, who coincidentally happens to be a medical doctor, and you see him, because he's on the other side, trying to chastise his own constituency. It's just unfortunate for me.
So, but on the flip side of it, don't you think this whole strike thing is getting too much?
Yes,
Labor going on strike, doctors going on strike, educators going on strike.
I pointed
it is contributing to paralyzing the situation.
It is greatly. I did point it out sometime on this studio that we should begin to look at other ways to engage government. It seems industrial action is no longer helpful. Because at the end of the day, they say when two elephants fight, it's the grass that suffers. Because we've had series of what do you call it, industrial action in the past, which are yielded no result. What do you call teachers, that is the lecturers, embarked on strike for almost a year, and then nothing happened. So we should begin to look at other ways through which to engage government. Otherwise, at the end of the day, we will lose both the battle and the essence for which the strike is being called. So we should look for alternative ways to engage government, and people should be very careful. You know, you'll be shocked that by Tuesday, federal government will come up with an injunction restraining the resident doctors from backing on strike.
But
you know, it has always, you know, you'll be shocked. It has happened in the past. You know, while you are engaging the labor union, the closed doors, you also do something, you know, try to, you know, harass them into agreeing to whatever you propose to them. So I think it's very dangerous to our society.
Okay, let me have it, please.
Well, you know, one of the biggest areas of failure by this present administration is with respect to investment in the health sector. It is very sad that over 6 years, there's nothing that you can point to say this was an attempt that was made or that's been made by this administration with respect to the health sector. And it is a slap on the face to see the president traveling abroad to enjoy what others have built when he has had the opportunity to do something, you know, I mean, for over 6 years. Throughout this period, every year, budgets, for example, for the State House clinic has always exceeded over 3 billion. And yet,
if they don't have equipment there that can take care of
routine checks. You know, I listened to his media aides, and they said that he was going on a routine medical
check.
Yeah,
it's not like it's a serious health condition, just a medical checkup.
The president is going on a routine medical check, and he cannot access a clinic that's specially built for him alone with over 3 billion. I mean, how many billions do other hospitals across the country get? You know, speaking again from the point of view of my village experience as a village person, you know, when I was growing up in my village, we had primary health centers in the villages. Every village had one. You know, yeah, my village didn't have one, but you know, just a walk to the next village, there was a very viable health center with doctors, with nurses. You know, a lot of us were born there. You know, but you don't have that today. There's hardly any village or any small community across the country where you can find reasonable health centers. You know, and this is a failure of the, and you have this in a country with such a failure. And don't forget, the majority of people still live in the rural areas. I mean, we still talk about the fact that the urban centers are big and all of that, but a lot of people still live in the rural areas. They don't have access to even primary health care. And somebody who wants to go for checkup, you know, and is going to spend taxpayers' money. Do you know what it costs to fly the presidential jet to the UK and back? And sometimes, because he's refusing to give power to the vice president, they will still be flying other jets to go and meet him, to ask questions, to sign bills. I remember the last time he traveled, they said he signed bill in the UK, and they had to get the private presidential jet from Nigeria that flew into the UK for him. You see, this is
and that is the cost of governance that we're talking about.
This is unbearable. This is unbearable. And sometimes when you think about it, when you look at it, you're almost weeping. You know, and then, you know, just like we said, the resident doctors are on strike. And what are they asking for? They're asking for peanuts. If you look at what they're asking for, they're asking for things that ordinarily should be given. These are people that are battling COVID, people that are putting their lives on the line,
and they are losing their colleagues and family members.
Ordinary Nigerians, and yet you cannot. Do you know that what Buhari has spent? I'm not even going to speculate here. What Buhari has spent in the last 6 years traveling abroad. I mean, if you look at all of the costs, it will be enough to fix the problem that the residents are having. It might not be too much of a speculation to say that. And that just tells you how bad these people are. This is not even incompetence. This is sheer wickedness. This is a devilish posture to governance. Because how do you sleep in a day? Sometimes even when I'm driving along this road and see, you know, see a pregnant woman carrying something on the head, hockey and all that, I'm worried. You know, I mean, so how do they sleep? That you can spend billions to travel across to other countries to access their medical facilities, when the funding, the money you are putting in will be enough to fix some of the facilities we have, so that people can, you know, at least have a reasonable place to go to for medical checks. It is absolutely, and my lecturer has talked about the fact that we should, think of other options to engage government. Unfortunately, this Nigerian government doesn't listen to anything. The Nigerian government that I know, for a very long time, do not listen to people who are, using or exploring peaceful means to negotiation. They don't listen to you. Which is why, for example, you can see bandits getting paid now. They are receiving money. Why? Because they are using violence. In the Niger area, people have been living in poverty. People are living in penury despite all the many years of oil in the area. Nobody did anything. But when they started destroying facilities, they started doing amnesty, paying this, and some people benefited from it. And yet, this still remains the way it is. Nigerian government only listen to violence. I'm not advocate of violence. But what I've seen, just looking at the political scene, is that the Nigerian government does not listen to you in any other way. So fortunately, we don't have any other way to negotiate with them.
So what other ways do you think you can negotiate with government apart from this strike? Because most of the time, before this strike goes, come into effect, either from the labor or from the education, they will come out to say, we've tried negotiating with the government, with the federal government on these, and never yielded any results. So that's why we are going on strike. So we can come here to condemn the way they're always going on strike, but do you think sometimes they are justified because they've tried the peace method and it is not working? So what other method do you think
absolutely can work? I didn't say that before they embarked on strike they don't come to table to negotiate with government. I'm saying that beyond the industrial action, because it's also killing the institution itself. Yes, I understand, just like my friend did highlighted, that Nigerian government has become, it's like a kingdom that suffers violence, and only the violent ones will take it. So everybody is angry, everybody is aggressive. So it's either this or nothing. So government on their side, there is no sincerity or purpose. Even when they seem to agree on the table, at the end of the day, they will renege. So yes, of course, industrial action is a major way towards getting certain things from government.
But even that has not really worked.
It has not really worked. No, it has worked substantially because that's the only thing they listen to, like he pointed out. But I think there are other ways through which to engage government. You can decide, for instance, medical personnel can embark on, peaceful protests. They can also decide that, okay, within
the peaceful protest, is that like part of a strike too?
No. Strike means that they will exactly.
They can go to protest, but keep working.
Yes, and of course we should bear in mind that medical doctors, they play a major role.
But some people will come out to say this is happening because the medical doctors, the federal government have taken them for granted for too long. Because of course we know that doctors, their primary job is to save life. And if you see someone that go into medicine with that primary purpose of wanting to save life, most of the times don't look at the financial benefits because they want to save life. And looks like the federal government, as it were, and government successively have taken advantage of that. And probably, because enough is enough on their parts.
Yeah, not just the medical aspect. In every aspect, Nigeria
but medicine is quite critical because we're talking about human life here.
Yes, it's very critical. Yeah, they may have taken advantage of them in the past, or they are still taking advantage of them. That is why we have our young doctors leaving Nigeria in droves for greener pastures, because they feel that there's nothing here for them. And you see, when they leave, they become better. So it appears that the society has become a clog in the wheel of their progresses. So if I cannot succeed in Nigeria, I have to look elsewhere. And that is why we have even shortage of doctors. Even the little ones we have are now saying, pay us for what we have done. Pay us for the services we are rendering. Those who lost their life during pandemic, have you compensated their families? What about their insurances? Has it been paid? These are genuine questions and genuine agitations every reasonable government must listen to. But we don't have reasonable government, and we have to embrace this reality. We don't.
Just to add to the point my friend made about the fact that most Nigerian doctors are now moving abroad for greener.
But it's not just a doctor thing. Nigerians generally are traveling.
Let me give you a statistics that may shock you. Between 2015, when Buhari took over power. And now, I understand that as at either last year or 2 years ago, there were about 8,200 or thereabout Nigerian doctors that were in the UK alone.
Wow.
Now, out of that, more than half went to the UK between 2015 and today.
Wow.
You see, that tells you that the situation has become even worse. We have never had it so rosy in this country, right? Yeah. But it's the biting situation that's pushing young people out of this country for greener pasture has become so worse that for UK alone, more than 50% of the Nigerian doctors that have immigrated from Nigeria to the UK in the last 6 years of this administration have been half of the number that are in the UK totally. About more than half have moved in the last 6 years.
And that's just UK. We're not talking about other countries. Well, we just sincerely hope, just like you advocated, that we look for better ways to negotiate with the government other than strike, because it is paralyzing the situation. Just like we've rightly pointed out, the tertiary institutions, they went on strike for months, and when it looks like, okay, they've negotiated with government, the non-teaching staffs are going on their strike. It's just crazy. Labour, they are coming up with their own.
is going on strike again too.
Yes,
by Tuesday. I mean, judicial workers. So the costs are going to be short from Tuesday.
And just like you rightly mentioned, two wrongs, don't exactly make it right.